Imagine a sunny day in California. Families are on the beach, kids are building sandcastles, and surfers are catching waves. Then, in the blink of an eye, everything changes. No one can breathe. The world goes silent. What if the world lost oxygen for 5 seconds? Now you might think, 5 seconds, that's nothing. But if every molecule of oxygen on Earth suddenly disappeared for 5 seconds, those few moments would unleash unimaginable chaos. Let's take a closer look at what would really happen in those short 5 seconds. First, let's think about us, humans. In those 5 seconds without oxygen, most of us wouldn't lose consciousness. Our bodies have a limited reserve of oxygen. However, the immediate feeling would be a sudden suffocation, a terrifying inability to breathe. Imagine gasping for air and finding none. It would be unsettling to say the least. Now, our lungs wouldn't be the only things affected. Hemoglobin, the molecule in our blood that carries oxygen, would quickly lose its oxygen supply. The cells in our body would be scrambling for any remaining oxygen. Even 5 seconds without it would feel like a deep, jarring shock to our system. Here's where things get even stranger. Without oxygen, the atmospheric pressure would instantly drop by about 21%. Air isn't just oxygen. It's made of nitrogen, argon, and other gases. But oxygen is a big part of the mix. Without it, there would be a sudden, powerful decrease in pressure. This shift would make our ears pop violently, as if we were free-falling from a plane. Structures built to withstand specific pressure levels, like buildings and tunnels, would suddenly find themselves vulnerable to collapse. And here's a fascinating fact: the sky would lose its blue color. Oxygen is responsible for scattering sunlight, which gives us our familiar blue sky. Without oxygen, the sky would turn pitch black, like nighttime in the middle of the day. It would feel like an apocalyptic scene, with a sudden, unsettling darkness. Oxygen isn't just for breathing. It's a crucial element in chemistry, too. All metals exposed to air are coated with a thin layer of oxidation, which prevents them from rusting further. With no oxygen, that protective layer vanishes. Exposed metals would instantly begin to corrode or even disintegrate as their molecular structure would destabilize. Imagine every bridge, every car, and even many buildings starting to break down at a microscopic level. Now let's think about the oceans. Water is H2O, 2 parts hydrogen, 1 part oxygen. Without oxygen, water molecules would lose their structure, converting instantly into a gaseous state. This change would cause a dramatic rise in sea level and an explosive release of steam. The oceans wouldn't completely vanish in 5 seconds, but the impact would be enough to create massive turbulence and waves on the water's surface, endangering ships and coastal areas. And now, for one of the scariest effects, airplanes. Modern aircraft engines rely on oxygen in the atmosphere to ignite fuel. If oxygen disappeared, every plane in the sky would lose power instantly. Thousands of planes would be stranded mid-flight, and if they couldn't reignite their engines when the oxygen returned, they would fall out of the sky. Even the ground beneath us would react. Earth's crust is made up of about 45% oxygen, bound in minerals and rocks. If all oxygen were gone, the structural integrity of the Earth's surface would weaken, leading to landslides and destabilizing the ground in some regions. After the 5 seconds end, oxygen would rush back, and in most places people would recover quickly. Fires would reignite, planes might restart, and life would go on. But those brief seconds would leave a lasting impact, especially for planes that lost altitude or power, and cities hit by power failures. So if the world lost oxygen for just 5 seconds, it would be a quick yet powerful reminder of how crucial this element is to our survival. Oxygen is woven into the fabric of life, and even a few seconds without it would create unforgettable chaos and devastation. From the air we breathe to the ground we walk on, oxygen is the invisible thread holding everything together. Let's not take it for granted.